What's up, everybody? It's Make It Make Sense. And I have been deep diving since early this morning. And we're going to talk about Wendy, but I think Kevin might be in trouble. So like the video as the intro plays, because we got a lot to get into.
I was listening to Make It Make Sense. Shout out to Make It Make Sense. Thank you.
It makes sense to me intellectually.
Sense Mims, who a lot of people have been asking to be on the show.
Make it make sense.
Make it make sense. You know what's up.
Big Mims.
Surfer.
Make it make sense. Tell me how you squeeze it. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things that you say. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things of your dream. Hey, let me work out all the things in between. Make it make sense. Tell me how you squeeze it. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things that you say. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things of your dream. Hey, let me work out all the things in between. Make it make sense.
Trying to open my horizons to vegetables because I'm a pretty picky eater.
You're not a picky eater if you're 600 pounds.
Big Mims.
Surfer.
Okay, happy birthday, Christy B. I wish you the best. I wish you the absolute best birthday for 2024. But okay, let's get into this, y'all, because you heard it here first. Kevin's lawsuit is now being appealed. His lawsuit against Wendy's former company or Wendy's former bosses, Debmore Mercury, is being appealed, and we are going to get into that in the Kevin segment. We're going to start with Wendy because Wendy's my girl. You know, I love Wendy, but keep in mind, we are going to get into that. The judge finally said you guys can appeal it, but we'll get into that a little bit later. That's why I think Kevin might be in a bit of trouble. I think that was his last resort. But okay, you guys, we all saw this. Or if you haven't seen it, we're about to watch it now. Wendy has put out a documentary, and for anybody who, like myself, is a follower of Wendy and who wants the best for Wendy, it was sad. It was sad to watch.
From 6 years old, all I wanted was to be famous. Showtime. There's only one Wendy Williams.
The boss is walking, everybody.
Nobody can do it like Wendy. No one.
People love Wendy.
You are a star to all of us.
She was in her living room every single day for 12 years.
Yeah, I guess that'll do.
And that's what people responded to, her authenticity. And then at the peak of her career, she was gone.
Are we ready?
Yeah, waiting on you.
All right. And away we go.
At parts of this, I was extremely happy to see that she was very lucid. That gave me some hope that, you know, she's moving in a better direction.
All I know is how to be famous. I really want to be back on television.
You're gonna be back on TV. That's easy.
My mom has done a great job making it seem like everything is okay always.
Wendy, make sure you look here. 1, 2, 3.
But in reality, there's something wrong going on.
Did you see a neurologist to find out if I'm crazy? Mm-hmm. Oh my God.
There's so many illnesses, you know, early onset dementia. There are so many things that just that statement alone, that she had to go see a neurologist, that led me to believe that it's more than just the alcohol.
No, I can't do this. I can't do this. I have to sit down again.
She was put in front of a judge and given a guardian. That was when they took her away from us.
I have no money. And I'm going to tell you something. If it happens to me, it could happen to you.
As her family, we were all sitting on the sidelines watching, and she was crying out for help.
Did you drink this whole thing today?
Keep it there.
Okay.
Keep it there.
My mom, she always talks about how she wants to work.
If you've ever been around somebody who is in the throes of addiction, as much as you want to help, what we just saw was very real. What we just saw, her telling her handler to leave her bottle where she can get to it broke my heart. But guys, that's reality. That's reality.
I feel as though she's worked enough.
She has people around who are yes people and allowing this to continue.
This is all too much.
Go! Fly! I have no idea where we are. This doesn't look like anything familiar.
I think she's losing memory. Have you guys noticed that?
How dare him? I control men. I weigh 138.
Anybody could look at her and tell this is not just alcohol. There's something more going on.
Now, for her eyes, guys, she has something called hyperthyroid, which is attached to her Graves' disease. So that's why her eyes are larger than normal. And I think that she was probably able to control it a little better when she was on television, and not in the throes of addiction or whatever she's going through or whatever her struggles are. In addition to her walking, everybody sees her in the wheelchair and she has lymphedema. So her legs swell to the point where she can't walk. There's so many. She's facing a lot, and it's all happened at once.
I miss my family. Please be here.
No matter how many times somebody may fall down, you gotta lift them back up.
We all make choices in life. We all go through our challenges. She's still a person.
How you doing?
That's my sister.
There have been random people around you.
Stealing money from me.
Getting money, whatever the case may be.
Enough.
Can you tell me where your sister is?
No, I don't know the exact location of where she is.
I feel like the Guardian has not done a good job of protecting my mom.
My life. My life.
Right now, she's weak and vulnerable, and she needs to be around people who aren't going to take advantage of that.
I have no friends. You know how many people come out to support you? You know how many
I don't trust her manager.
people love you? No, I don't.
Her manager was a jeweler. I don't know if that was the best decision.
I think it's something good.
I know. I think that the guardianship system is broken. We are her family. And you tell me that I'm not capable of taking care of my sister. What would you do? What should I do?
I love being famous, but family was everything.
So good to see you again, Dad.
It's good to see you, babe.
Everything.
Somebody said, where's it going to play? It's going to play on Lifetime. Okay, so let's get into it. Because we heard recently that Wendy moved back to Florida. And I'll tell you why I think it's good. But first, the person who told us was Miss Jones. So I want you guys to kind of hear about her relationship with Miss Jones. It was tumultuous, allegedly. Kevin had put, if you don't know who Miss Jones is the lady to the right of Wendy. Kevin had put a hit on her. There was a major lawsuit, but Wendy and Miss Jones maintained something positive, something good, and they reconnected. But let me let you hear that in Mrs. Jones' own words.
Kevin, by the way, they're coming to get you tonight. So, and again, I'm in my own personal turmoil with my own life. So I'm like, fuck that. Cause I'm not on the scene at that point. I'm like, whatever. But when we met, when she came to my house, she cried.
Wendy. And she come to the house with bodyguards. The bodyguards staying outside. She's dolo.
It was a driver.
The hitman were with her.
She ain't have no, it was nobody.
Yeah.
It should have been. But she didn't know what she was walking into.
Right.
It was just a driver.
Right.
And me and a pop-up. And so I'm in the house sweating like a freaking, and I'm clean sweeping tables like.
Is a little part of you saying, you know what? This bitch might try to kill me. I'm sorry.
No.
I'm just saying.
She ain't built. I never thought that she would ever be built, because anyone that saves you when you need a job, when your life is in jeopardy,
right.
That to me, that preceded anything anyone could have ever told me, which is why people say now, why are you her friend? Because when I was about to not know where I was going to get a check from.
All right, but this is after, right?
And that's your ultimate truth, because you lived that.
So she
walks
walks in
here.
Guys, this is real life.
Right.
She walks in your house. Is the first thing she say, that's bullshit?
No, she starts showing me how her titties sit up without a pencil dropping underneath.
Wait, that's what you guys talk about?
No, I didn't say anything. She walks in and she goes, Kids on Wendy's here, and then she twirls around like Wonder Wendy, and she goes, "Look at my body," and then she goes, "Come in, Jones, bring it in." And then we hug, and she's like, "What are we drinking? What are we doing?" And I'm like, "You want the Hennessy?" She's like, "All day." So we go into the living room.
So Wendy drinks Hennessy.
Does she?
Wendy would do great on Drink Champs.
Yeah, she would do.
Yeah, have her on.
Yeah.
Let's clap it up.
If I can continue, this story is
So
so
then
amazing.
she's like, so it's kind of like, it feels like someone you haven't spoken to, but you pick right up where you left off. So she's talking about.
But there's a lot of people I ain't speaking to, and I can pick up where I left off, that don't got an article about murder.
They didn't try to murder you, buddy. No murders.
Did I go too far? You know what? Let's just stop this for 1 second.
I gotta give you some.
Right there.
A tea break. All right.
Okay. So that just gave you a little background into Jones and Wendy. Shout out to Chronicle Speaks. Miss Jones did an interview recently where she discussed Wendy's whereabouts. And I'm going to get into why I'm glad that Wendy is no longer in New York.
Wayne made me go and visit Wendy Williams.
I made you go.
Everybody was in on
You know
it.
what? I sort of did because I kept saying, "Did you go? Did you go? Did you go?"
And I kept putting it off and putting it off and putting it off.
Yeah.
So I pull up. First, I pulled up to the wrong building.
It's been a minute.
I know.
Yeah.
And I had to walk, but it was okay. And so I get there, I go inside, the door people greet me and and I said, "This might be a shot in the dark, sir, but I'm here to visit Wendy." And he shakes his head and he goes, "You're a couple of months late.
Wow.
She moved."
Hmm.
And I said, and he goes, "Yeah, that's all I can tell you." So, I start prying. I'm like, "Well, did they sell the unit? Is it on the market?" Because this was a fabulous duplex.
Mm-hmm.
And the building she was living in, which now I can tell you guys, it was supposed to be a hotel originally.
Mm-hmm.
And then COVID hit and they couldn't, obviously, no one was supposed to be in a hotel. So they sold it. And she told me how much she paid for it. And I was like, that was such a steal. It was beautiful, 2-floor, 3-bedroom unit. So I thank you, sir. And then I go and I look for the other people that, live in the building,
Right.
work in the building.
Start sleuthing.
Yup. And I got my sleuth on. And they said, "Well, you know what happened? She was getting better. She was coming around. And then she started getting sick again."
Hmm.
And because her family's in Florida,
Right.
and people were coming in her circle that they weren't familiar with, and they didn't know, they couldn't get access to her when they wanted, they moved her down to Florida. So she is allegedly down in Florida with her son, recuperating.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we wish.
Okay. So that was in Miss Jones' own words. Let me tell you, based on what I've found in the deep dive, why I think that it was smart. Not only is it good for her to be away from New York, where the paparazzi hound her and every move she makes is scrutinized, it's also good for her to be away from New York because of financial issues. Wendy is in financial straits, and people are like, well, how could she be in financial straits when she was making $10 million a year? 10 million a year when you are consistently making it and you are living at that level is a lot of money. 10 million a year and you've no longer been making that money. You are paying for a beautiful high-rise apartment. You're paying a couple $100,000 for little Kevin's apartment. Wendy and Kevin did not have a prenup. However, up until Wendy got that conservator, Wendy was making payments to Kevin. In addition to that, Wendy was also providing a home for Sharina. So you have to think, although Wendy was making $10 million a year, you have taxes, you have managers, you have attorneys, you have all of these things that eats away at that. And, we found out through Johnny Depp, who was making multiple, $40, $50 million a picture. He was living at such a level that he was living from picture to picture. We cannot go based on somebody's net worth, because a lot of times net worths are dependent upon future earnings. Net worths are dependent upon your business. Wendy was in dire financial straits, y'all. So Why do I think it's good that she went to Florida? Because in that divorce decree, she was awarded her Florida home. So she was forced to sell her New Jersey house, moved into an expensive apartment, gave Kevin $250,000 towards finding him and technically Sharina a new place. And I think they got one initially in New York before moving to Florida. But yeah, money goes fast. We saw that the money just wasn't there when little Kevin got evicted from his high rise. Be blessed. Thank you so much for the super chat. She says 260 likes. Yikes. Let's hit the like button, family. Thank you so much. Be blessed. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe. Like I said, we go deep around here. Yeah, we got 1,300, but we don't even have 500 likes. Definitely hit that like button. It's a free way to support the channel. Natasha says, I feel sorry for Wendy. She's been abused by her ex so much. Allegedly, let me put my banner up. When Wendy was still at the radio, a woman came forward and had alleged that Kevin not only had tried to hit on her, but had like gotten violent with her. So there's an alleged history there. But let's continue. So I think personally, after seeing some of these court documents, that it was in Wendy's best interest to move away from New York because she doesn't technically have a business there and move to a place where she already owns a home. I think it was for financial reasons, you guys. I want to get into Wendy. We have been seeing Wendy like this for the last couple years. Every time I see her in a situation like this, my heart absolutely goes out to Wendy because there was something there. And until this documentary, we speculated that there might have been drugs or alcohol, but this documentary really showed us that she is in the throes of addiction. She's been very vocal about being a former addict and a recovering addict. We saw her go to rehab while they were still trying to save the Wendy show. Her decline just came so fast. In addition to, her age and health issues, we have seen Wendy Williams go through it. And I think for most people like myself, we want to see her in a healthy, happy place for the rest of her life. If that's not on TV, that's just not on TV. But, I digress. Let's move into Kevin. So we found out that Kevin was going through a lot of financial stuff very early on because as soon as Wendy's handlers, conservator, stopped those payments, all of a sudden Kevin's life crumbled. And now we see probably a little bit with Shireena, but I'll get into her a little bit later. Right away, Kevin couldn't even afford his homeowners association fees, I believe. He couldn't afford his insurance. This Wendy Williams Kevin divorce decree is very hard to get. I already reached out to the PI. So as soon as she wakes up, hopefully we can get on that. But it was very hard. Very few people got it. And so they kind of left little breadcrumbs. I don't know if they weren't supposed to have it, but very few people have the actual document. And I'm trying to get my hands on the actual document. But as I understood it, Wendy is required to pay Kevin's medical insurance. Well, she stopped doing that when the conservator came along. Kevin needs, I think, like a hip replacement. Can't get that done. Kevin could not pay for his cars. And we all know Kevin and Shireena liked a lot of different cars. They had the Bentley truck. They had the Rolls Royce truck. They had the Rolls Royce convertible. Allegedly, this particular Ferrari, which I don't really like this color, allegedly it was like a push gift for Shireena. So Wendy actually had that one taken back, but couldn't pay the car insurance, allegedly. We now know that Kevin had to, had to sell his home. Where is it? Here we go. Wendy Williams' ex-husband, Kevin Hunter, selling $1.2 million home after failed bid for alimony. And we will get into the failed bid for alimony. It was just one thing after another. what I don't understand is Kevin had already gotten a lump sum. So how is it that with the lump sum, $250,000 that Wendy paid you so that you could find a new place for you and Sharina, how is it that within only a couple of years, you guys are in dire straits? That's like a for real question, y'all. I don't know, I don't really know too much about Shireena. She's been relatively quiet. She is probably one of the most disliked people in the US because people felt like Shireena knowingly stayed with a married man, and then spent Wendy's money living a very lavish lifestyle. So she's not very well liked. I'll get into what she, has been doing in the businesses that she built and what I found out about the businesses a little bit later. Let's get into Kevin. Let's get into this lawsuit. So after the judge had basically said that nothing that Kevin was doing was necessarily like emergent, then Kevin, in my opinion, started scrambling. And that's when Kevin sued Debmar Mercury. And he sued Debmar Mercury basically saying that he was fired and he should be protected under a law that protects people. You can't be discriminated against because you are married or unmarried. So at first I'm like, okay, he's about to get a payday, because 1 week after Kevin, I think I have it up. Hold on 1 second. 1 week after Kevin and Wendy, announced they were getting a divorce, Kevin got fired. Here we go. I have it right here. This is what Debmar Mercury initially sent to Kevin. It says, "Dear Kevin, out of respect for our 10-year working relationship, we had hoped to meet with you in person and travel to New York to do so, but unfortunately, you have canceled today's meeting and we are left with no choice but to communicate to you in writing that effective immediately, your role as executive producer of the Wendy Williams Show is terminated, and your professional relationship with Debmar Mercury is also concluded." So let's see. Plaintiff Kevin Hunter is the ex-husband of Wendy Williams, the host of the Wendy Williams Show, a daytime television program that ran from 2008 to 2022. Hunter was the executive producer of the Wendy Williams Show from its inception until his termination in April of 2019. As executive producer of the show, Plaintiff Hunter undertook several functions that were pivotal to the show's success, from the selection or the final approval of the guests, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, that's actually what they told him. You got to go. So he sued based on this law that says you cannot discriminate against somebody for being married or unmarried. So I'm thinking, okay, he's not going to get Wendy's money. At least he's going to get Debmar Mercury's money. Debmar Mercury appealed and the court said no. So I'm thinking, done deal. Until I found out, as of within the last few days, the court said, nope, you have a right to appeal. So this is what we are looking at. Again, you won't see this anywhere else as of yet. Debmar Mercury, who I believe is Kevin Hunter's last hope, now has come through with a 55-page appeal. And basically what they're trying to say is this law that says that you can't be discriminated for being married or unmarried does not apply. They're saying that Kevin's attorney used that law incorrectly. And I think, this is just from a layman's terms. I do reach out to these attorneys and get, multiple attorneys' standpoints on this. But basically, what they are trying to say is, let's say you were a reverend or something and you got fired from your position as a reverend because you were unmarried. That's a discrimination because you are unmarried. Kevin was trying to say that because he's not married to Wendy, he's now fired, as opposed to your boss saying, I'm severing ties with you. So he's in for a fight. But the reason that's bad is because he already doesn't have any money. He asked the courts to have Wendy pay for his court costs when he was going back to court after they stopped paying him those payments, and the court said no. Now you're having to sell your home. He has I think like a small Capital One claim. You can't pay your Capital One bill. And there was something else that happened with Kevin. He had to sell his house. Oh, and something happened to one of his Ferraris, and the insurance doesn't want to pay for that. So now he's having to pay for a lawyer to fight that. You're having to pay for a lawyer to fight Debmar Mercury. You're having to pay for a lawyer to continuously try to get Wendy's money. It's not looking good. Everything is coming. It feels like full circle for Kevin. It's not looking good, y'all. Kevin has within, I think yesterday or maybe the day before, let me see. I have it up. Let's see. Okay, so we got the petition to appeal. Sorry, my bad. He appealed this like 2 weeks ago. My bad. And basically, I mean, I could show you guys. Basically, he's saying he lists all the times in the cases where a precedent was set, but the attorney that I talked to said that Kevin is up for a fight. No, I'm sorry, 2-1. I was right. My bad. It's right here. 2-1 is when Kevin did his reply. So that was just yesterday. I'm telling you, nobody else has this as of yet, but Kevin is fighting hard to say that they discriminated against him because of his marriage. We will see. We will definitely see. My thing is this. If Kevin was such a pivotal manager, there have been people who separate from their large client, but because they were so good, they are still viable in the industry. If Kevin was such a pivotal person in the success of the Wendy Williams show, then why hasn't he been able to leverage that into employment? Why is the payment from Wendy not coming through now, meaning that everything in your life is upside down? What did you save? Why did you still need to live a life with Rolls Royces and Ferraris if you knew that the money was not coming in? And, was that money allegedly bankrolling Sharina's businesses? We'll get into that. One other thing that I found interesting, and I haven't got my hand on the actual documents yet, so I'll tell you guys once I get my hands on the documents if this was just a rumor or true, but they have said, the people have been saying that Wendy's payments to Kevin were contingent upon Wendy still making the show. In addition to that, it was they were contingent on Wendy being on the show, and they were contingent upon Wendy being on network television. And that might be why when Wendy said she was coming back, she said she was coming back in the form of not YouTube, I think like a podcast, which would then mean that Kevin was not due any of her money. Now, the question is, now that Wendy is going to be on Lifetime, will Kevin get some of that money? If that's true, this is network television, so Kevin would be potentially could get a payment from this. So, you know me, I'm gonna keep on this, but I feel like Debmar Mercury has a lot of money to throw around if they really do not want to. They didn't want to settle with him. Now they are appealing. So I think Kevin is in a bit of trouble. Let's see. Sid the Science Kid, thank you so much for your super sticker. I appreciate you. Pisces Unicorn says, thank you for bringing this story to us. Thank you, Pisces. And Jersey Girl or Jay Jersey Girl says all he had to do was not get Shireena pregnant. I'm sure Wendy and Kevin had an arrangement. I'm absolutely sure as that as well, because I remember live watching Wendy saying everything is okay in Huntersville. That was until Shireena got pregnant, and then it was like, I can't do this anymore. I can't do this anymore. But okay, y'all, let's get into Shireena. And we'll end with Kevin Jr. because that's at least a positive story. Okay, so we got, I told you about the Capital One. Okay, so let's get into Shireena. So Shireena does not look like the Shireena that we initially saw. She has kind of changed her life around and become a natural vegan food chef. I'm a person who, you know, Shireena will always probably wear a scarlet letter, but I'm a person who feels like, you know, there's a baby involved and you have to move on with your life. In my opinion, Kevin was not right for Wendy. I don't know. He alleges that he was the one still keeping her held up and afloat in the background. Who knows? But there's a baby involved. People are now saying that Shireena and Kelvin are no longer together once Kelvin was broke. So I decided to do a little digging because you never know. Some people might like Shireena. If you like Shireena, I'm not a person who, you know, if you like her and you want to support her, let me let you know how to do that. I've done it with everybody. I don't technically know the ins and outs of what happened with Kevin, her, and Wendy, what their arrangement was. There's been a lot of speculation that it was extremely contentious, but then Big Kevin says that Shireena was there when little Kevin started having issues with drugs, and when he was sent away, Shireena was there almost like a handler. I don't know the ins and outs. What I do know is Shireena and Kevin now have a kid. So I'm like, okay, well, what are these businesses? So the first thing I found was this clothing line that she had. But then I'm looking through it and I'm like, okay, but everything is old. Meaning this is back from 2019. So is this something that was allegedly bankrolled through Wendy? And, you know, when you have money flowing in like that, you can just start businesses. I don't know. But to me, it hasn't been updated since 2019. So this is not a viable company. Then we have the food chef. So she is a natural food chef. You can see she's lost a lot of weight since she went vegan. I'm like, okay, what is this? There's an actual restaurant. So then I was like, okay, well, let me see what the restaurant is doing. Okay. But it's offline, meaning you can't purchase anything. So it's not a restaurant that's a freestanding building, but it's also a restaurant where you can't purchase anything. So to me, that says it's not a viable business. Meaning there's no money. Where, like, the clothing line, not viable. The food restaurant, not viable. And I think the only thing that I actually saw that was still for sale was, let me see, it was like one of the products. I think the only thing that they had that's still for sale is like shea butter. That's it. I told you guys, once I start deep diving. So we got like almost 2,000 in the chat. Where are we at on likes? We don't even have 1,000 likes, y'all. Go ahead and hit that like button. It is a free way to support the channel. If you are new to the channel, definitely subscribe. So yeah, we got the Ferrari taken and none of the businesses open. We don't know anything that Kevin has. All we know is, although Wendy was required to pay his insurance, without her payment, he can't even pay his health insurance. He can't even get his hip replaced. A lot of people are like, karma is a B. I'm Team Wendy. Yeah, Shireena was always going to have an uphill battle because Wendy was like one of the most beloved talk show hosts, especially in this era. So for you to have been a mistress and then the mistress who had the baby, and then Kevin talking so much ish about how you were a part of the family and you were this, it didn't help you. You probably should have told him to shut up. So, not that hip is what got him in trouble. Forget him and his hip. Right. Does Kevin work? Not that we know of. If he can't afford to even pay his health insurance, that's pretty bad. He could work at Amazon like Tokyo Tony. Y'all are crazy. Okay, so I wanted to make sure that we went into something positive. So I've been following little Kevin for a minute, and so I was always seeing little Kevin posting stuff like this, ladies brunch at a friend's house. So I was thinking, okay, well, he had to move out of his apartment. His mom is not doing well. At least he's found a way to, promote for this company. Anybody who's a celebrity, you can promote these things, make a little bit of a coin. This is actually Kevin's company. So Kevin has found a way in all of the turmoil, in being a college kid, to actually make some of his own money. And for that, I'm extremely proud, because a lot of rich kids, they wouldn't know how to pick themselves up and do it. But I want to show you, this is actually Kevin's company. Top Floor Kev is his thing, but this Music Love Marketing and Music Love Studios, that's his. So kudos to him for being upfront and there for his mom in this documentary, B, figuring a way out to make his own money. Education, we all know, if you watch the Wendy Williams show, that Wendy Williams' heart was this kid. She almost lost it when Kevin started doing synthetic weed. This was her kid. And this whole situation is proof that you could have everything today and it could all be gone tomorrow. And that's why it was so important for this little dude to actually go to school. Now, she sent him to school living in a bad high-rise penthouse and all that kind of stuff. But this is the exact reason why people who are rich like Wendy was said, no, you need to go get your education. So I'm super happy for him that he's now found a way to promote himself and make money, because he's going to need to be there for his mom. This is one of those things where, although Kevin is extremely young, he is going to need to grow up extremely fast and be a support system for his mom, especially now that his mom is back in Florida and will need him. When we get into whatever these neurological issues might be with Wendy, we'll actually get like a map as to, where things might be going. As of right now, nobody technically really knows, but if people are having her see neurologists, that could be anything. That could be dementia. That could be so many different things. So I'm really proud of this little dude, because people, just think probably, oh, he's just a little rich boy. No. She's starting a podcast. I highly doubt it. I don't think that she's starting the podcast. And I'm with Kevin. I feel like you've worked enough. Wendy's been doing this since what? The early 90s, maybe the late 80s. She amassed a lot of wealth for herself. She's famous, she's infamous, she's all those things, but now she's struggling with day to day. And I don't think that there should be a push for Wendy to go back to any type of broadcasting. I think that her mental health, her sobriety, all of those things need to get worked through before she even thinks about a podcast. Because although the market will always be there for Wendy, seeing this broke my heart. And that's while she was still in New York. Allegedly, Wendy Williams has not been seen publicly since what, March of 2023. So, yeah. But once I saw this Deadmore Mercury story, I was like, I had to bring it to you guys. So I'll be doing updates sporadically on this. You guys know I will definitely be tuned into this Wendy Williams. Did the documentary already come out? No. Let's see. When does the Wendy Williams documentary premiere? Oh, I got a little glimpse of it says, where's Wendy Williams later this month, February 24th and 25th. Also on Lifetime, Kenya has a movie coming out about I think it's like young Black women being trafficked. Natasha, thanks for the super chat. Natasha says he's showing his father what it is to be a man. Kevin takes some notes. Yeah, shout out to little Kevin. But yeah, Kenya has a documentary coming out about kids that were being trafficked, and I saw just a glimpse of it. I thought it looked pretty good. The Carly Rae story. Is that the name of it? Not Kim Fields. You tried it, Star. Anyway, guys, I gotta run. Oh, also, I did a video regarding this young lady who alleged that Shirley Strawberry's husband, Ernesto Williams, had taken advantage of her. She has since reached out to me. I just saw that email this morning, so I'll be reaching out to her. I think maybe she wants to do a giveaway with some of her products. So I'll respond to that email this morning. Be Blessed said, let's get these likes up, fam, before we end the live. Yeah, definitely. Y'all, this was a deep dive. So I got to run anyway. Got a lot of stuff to do today. Thank you guys for being here. You guys can put in the comments how you actually feel. Were you surprised to hear that Deadmar Mercury is now appealing Kevin's lawsuit? And does that mean it's the end for Kevin? And are you surprised what is going on with Sharina's businesses? Let me know. You guys have a good day.